Hi guys, welcome back to another GGF video. Today I'll be doing a quick unboxing of this Coolmaster V850 watt power supply. Model number is V850, as you can see there. As I said, I'll do a quick unboxing, I'll do an overview as well, and I'll throw it in the system and we'll see how noisy it is and we'll check some of the voltages. I won't be able to go into too much detail in the review. I don't have sort of the tools to do all the testing, so it's pretty much just going to be an unboxing and an overview. So we'll just have a look at the packaging straight off. Nice packaging. This is one of Coolmaster's highest end power supplies. It's gold rated, 80 plus gold. It's nearly sort of breaching into your platinum range, so very, very high quality power supply. I'll see if we can see. So it's got fully modular cables. I'll show you that as well. 100% Japanese made capacitors, and it's got a 135mm fan as well, as you can see there. We'll have a look on the side there. We'll just get a better shot. Alright, so there's a model there, the RS850, Intel form factor, ATX 12 volts version 2.31. They're the dimensions, 135mm fan as I said. Efficiency 90% at, I think that's at 50% load. I'll check that, but that's pretty good. Protection, that's all your standard protection values there, which is really good to see. I think that's all of them. Connectors, so for your motherboard, 24 pin, you just get one, which is standard. You get one EPS 8 pin, which breaks into two 4s. You get 6 PCIe 6 pins, which also have the break off too, so you get 8 all up, so you get 6 8 pins. You get 9 SATA, 4 Molex, which are your 4 pin, and 1 floppy. Now I do believe there are actually more slots on this power supply than the cables they get you, so you can order some more cables if needed. Going down to the DC output, it's just got one 12 volt rail, which I prefer on power supply these days. So it's got one 70 amp 12 volt rail, which is good to see. And then your 5 volts is 25 and 3.3 is 25. Have a quick look at the back. There's not too much there. I think I've covered all of that. And then we've just got the fan curve, which isn't really too important. It'll just show you noise and load. So once it gets up to about 80% load, the fan starts revving up a bit, and then we can see our efficiency graph there, that it's most efficient at about just over 50% load. So it looks about 93 actually there, so that's pretty good. All right, we'll jump in now and we'll see what's inside the box and have a look at the unit itself. Alright, so I've taken it out of this main box, and you just get this other standard brown box that's in it. You got your standard Australian IEC power plug. Pretty good that it comes with that. It comes in this nice little pouch, which is good on a high-end power supply. Keeps all your cables together. I'll go through those in a tick. It comes with 4 standard case screws for screwing it in. They're black as well. And here's the unit itself. It's really good that it comes in this nice bag. It's a nice material, because it is a fairly expensive power supply, so it's nice to get that feature on it. Before we go over the power supply, we'll just go over the cables. We'll go through the lengths of the main ones that are going to be used. Alright, so we'll start off with the 24 pin motherboard connector. So this is the only sleeve cable. I don't really mind that the others aren't sleeved. I'll get to those in a minute, but it is good that this one is sleeved. Try and get a shot on that sleeving. It's actually really nice sleeving, as you can see there, and these are just your 2 ends there. So you've got your motherboard end and your modular power supply end there. Alright, the next cable is your EPS power connector to run to your motherboard. So there, it's an 8 pin broken into 2 4s, and that's your power supply in there. Normally these are sleeved on most power supplies, but this one's not. I actually think this is a pretty good idea, because most of the time you're not going to see it right at the top of your motherboard, and to run that behind the motherboard tray is, as you can see, it's going to take up no room at all. Rather, most of the time they're rounded and they can actually take up quite a bit of room. So it's actually good they've done that. I'll just start measuring some of these. Okay, so your 24 pin is about 65 centimeters, so that's pretty long there. Your EPS 8 pin is nearly 75 centimeters, so that's quite long for that. I'll move over to a SATA cable. Okay, so there's your SATA, the same as the all the rest are the same, just your flat cables now. So you got 1, 2, 3 SATA, and there's your power supply end. And that length is 70 centimeters, and you've got about 11 to 12 centimeters separated between each SATA connector there and there. Alright, moving over to a PCI Express Vga connector. So one cable will do two PCI Express connectors. They're just looped like that, and they'll either do 2 8s or 2 6s, because they're a 6 and a 2 on each one, which is pretty cool. And then you've got your end there. So once again, the same cable, really easy to hide behind places. And that cable is about 70 centimeters as well, with about 10 centimeters of cable in between the two connectors there. And the last one would be the Molex cable. And then that's it there, just like the SATA cable, branches off there, and there's your power supply end. So you can put the SATA or the Molex power supply end in each one on the power supply, it doesn't matter. And that length is about 60 centimeters, with about 14 centimeters between these two Molex ends there. And then all these other cables are just the same, but just duplicated. Alright, so that's it for those cables. We'll just have a look at the unit itself. It's actually not an overly large power supply like some. For 850 watts, it's not humongous amount of wattage, but it's so it's going to be standard 150 wide, but the length is about 170 millimeters, so 17 centimeters in length, which isn't too large. As you can see, that's the 135 millimeter fan, and it's sort of taken up the whole unit. So you can see all the high quality components inside there on the back. On most of them you can. You got your Cooler Master logo, which is pretty, all the text, which is pretty sweet, and your standard power switch. No light on it. You don't really need a light. There's your fan side. It looks like a really nice brushed aluminium finish. It's just a shame that most times you'll probably mount it like that in a case. You're not really going to see it, because when you have it like that, all the writing is upright. So I'll just go through the connectors. So the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are your Molex and SATA, the peripheral. The top 1, 2, 3, 4 are your PCI Express. I believe you get 3 PCI Express cables, so you can add a 4th if you order one more. That'll get you eight pins, which is pretty crazy. And then we got your 2 EPS. It only comes with 1 EPS, but you can add or order another one. And then these 2 here are your motherboard 24 pin, and then you just got, it just tells you here, which is pretty simple. Cooler Master logo there. A bit of info on the top, which is pretty standard. One good thing I like is the text is here, but if you have to flip your power supply and have it this way, the text is the same. So if you have your power supply up this way with the fan on the bottom, or up the top, the text is both ways. So they've just reversed it or flipped it upside down. Whereas some power supplies, the text is upside down like that when you install it, and for some people it just doesn't look as cool. That's pretty much it for going over that. I'm just going to fire this up in the system. We'll check some voltages and see how noisy it is. Alright, so I got the unit hooked up. It's running really quiet at the moment. As you can see, it's only doing about 58 watts, if you can just see that. So what I'll do is I'll crank up 3D Mark. Once that's running, I'll test some of the voltages with a multimeter. I'll just show you what it looks like for the GPU side. It's actually sort of really simple, with just the one cable, and it just loops over like that. So it looks really neat, rather than having to run a few cables like other units do. Alright, so what I'll do is I'll just start up, run all tests. So we'll just let that start up. This is running a 7970, so it should use a little bit, a couple of hundred watts at least. I don't actually have enough gear to sort of stress it out much more than that, so alright, so that's up around 200 now, if you can just see that. So that's probably the highest I'm going to get. with a single GPU. So I'll just turn on my multimeter and just have a look at the voltages. But this isn't really sort of a high-end test what I'm doing. It's just sort of a basic. You'd probably expect these to be spot on. So that's just a 12 volt rail now at the moment. So that's running at 12.18. And now I'll just test the 5 volt rail. And that's running at 505. So they're running perfectly fine. But as I said before, I don't have the equipment to do some of the high-end tests like you see in some reviews. But I'm just mainly just doing an unboxing just to show you what this power supply is like and some of the things it can do. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it for this review. Just wanted to show you those things. It seems to be running fine. It's really quiet. The efficiency is great. I guess if you can run it at about the 50% load, you're going to get about 93% efficiency. So that's pretty good. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for Cooler Master for sending me out this unit, and stay tuned for more videos in the future.